Welcome to Flow Brewing. Tonight we have a really exciting offering. We are actually going to review the score sheet that I received for my Bohemian Pilsner. I don't enter enough competitions, and I'm going to kind of make it a goal to enter more. Because I think it's a good way to kind of get feedback about your beer, and I just tend to be really competitive in almost everything that I do. So I don't like to receive low scores. I actually did not receive a low score for the Bohemian Pilsner, but did not score near as well as I wanted to, and didn't place or win. So anyways, we'll review that and talk a little bit about the beer and how it turned out. Talk about the BJCP style guidelines and some of the comments that the judges had for the beer, and kind of go over that and what, as home brewers we can do to better our product and enter it into competitions, take the feedback, make a better beer, and take it, continue to kind of push that envelope to make both better beers, more consistent beers, and more interesting beers that sort of push the envelope of what we're used to tasting and drinking within the beer world right now. So anyways, after the break we'll get into the new package labels that I have for Bohemian Pilsner, some of the score guidelines and the scoring sheet, and then we'll wrap it up. So we'll see you in a bit. So we're back from the break, and we've got our Dickey's Ale glasses, and I'd like to introduce you to the newest label that I got for the Bohemian Pilsner. I have put a link onto my site, which I'm pulling up right now. Of course, it doesn't pull up automatically. What's with that? But if you go to flowbrewing.com and you go to beer labels on the brewing tools section of flowbrewing.com, there is a really great, unfortunately it is flash-based, but a really great tool called the Beer Labelizer, written by a guy named Andrew from the UK. And he, put together these great templates. And I think that label looks fantastic. I didn't have any glue, but put that together. And did not send it to competition like that, but anyways, it gave me a good sort of idea on how the packaging and labeling process of the beer should go. So I bottled this beer a while back, and I'll have to search for the dates, but it would have been it would have been like, I want to say about the 27th, 26th of January. And it's got good carbonation. And we'll go ahead and pour a pint into the glass here. And you can see here, pours with great carbonation, good head, nice foamy body. The color is brilliant and clear, almost picture perfect clarity. A little bit of a malty, nice little noble hop aroma. And so anyways, why don't we get into the BJCP style guidelines here. If you guys have an iPhone, I would highly recommend the app. And if we select Pilsner, Bohemian Pilsner, which was the style that I brewed, just a couple notes. So as you've noticed on my website, I rate things based on aroma, appearance, flavor, mouthfeel, overall impression. Then I add comments and any history. always good about posting about all those facts, because it does take a good deal of research, and you have to kind of put together a well-rounded thought to highlight the details, every last detail about all the beers. But so for the Bohemian Pilsner, what we're shooting for is rich with complex malt and spicy, floral sauce, hop bouquet. This beer here, while I do get a good floral bouquet, it's not overly prevalent. Into the actual BJCP guide that I received. There was notes of a lot of diacetyl that was present up front, and hard to ignore, but on the BJCP guidelines we see that restrained diacetyl is acceptable but need not be present. So we are going to take first sip. And it's interesting, and this is exactly why you want to enter these competitions, because tasting this now with sort of objective third-party feedback, I can taste a bit of diacetyl, but it is not overly present to me. However, I am biased. And that is more on the flavor side of things and not so much in the aroma. I find it very impressive that, I guess actually, it says diacetyl is up front and ever present, hard to ignore. However, I don't smell anything buttery about that beer. So I'm not a trained judge, but interesting nonetheless. So here in just a minute we'll get into the appearance, which we've talked about a little bit, and dig into the flavor, mouthfeel, and overall impression, and go from there. So for the aroma, I got 5 out of 12. So the first judge, which was Michael Wilcox, and I haven't looked him up, but I'm impressed that he found diacetyl up front. He said that hidden hints of some complexity, very light herbal hop aromas, no fruitiness, no alcohol. I think those are all good things, characteristic to the style. I think this beer does have good head retention. That doesn't fall into the aroma, but we'll get into appearance here in a sec. 5 out of 12. Not good. The other judge, Jennifer Hilber, she was recognized but not certified, so you can definitely tell by her notes that she says the diacetyl is approximately to 40 parts per billion. It's malty, hop very low. I guess. I don't know how she came to the diacetyl at 40 parts per billion, but so she gave me 7 out of 12. The appearance, I got 3 out of 3, 3 out of 3, pretty common. I think the beer is great. The only thing that I would have done different is added Whirlflock. I would highly recommend something like Whirlflock Irish Moss to just help the yeast coagulate, settle out. Flavor, 11 out of 20. So got 10 out of 20 from Jennifer, 11 out of 20 from Mr. Wilcox. It says, showing slightly sweet behind simple diacetyl. Alcohol flavor is restrained. Bitterness is soft and nice. Low spicy hop flavor. No fruitiness. Pretty clean. Perhaps hidden by diacetyl. So basically, all the feedback that I got was that it has good flavor, but not great flavor. The diacetyl is kind of noted for the artificial butter, butterscotch, or toffee aroma and flavor. Sometimes perceived as slickness on the tongue. So here as I drink it, that's what I get. I get the slickness on the tongue. I do not get any artificial butter, butterscotch, or toffee aroma or flavor. Although I can see how they could associate some toffee flavors with the aroma. So, honestly, I'm not sure how to prevent that. I was doing some reading on it. I've been listening to some podcasts with Charlie Bamforth, and I'll probably have some additional thoughts here soon. But, I don't find it a negative quality in the beer at all, although it does seem to lack the crispness that I do associate with a really, really good Pilsner. So Left Hand Brewing has a fantastic Pilsner that I would highly recommend, and it does have a bit more crispness and dryness to it than this beer, and that could come from underpitching the yeast a little bit, but I nailed the temperature, and I thought that I was probably 1 billion to maybe 2 billion cells low, so maybe that's what caused the diacetyl. The mouthfeel, medium body, slightly slick, no astringency or alcohol warmth. Medium light, could be a bit higher. I poured pretty hard, could be my fault. So, I don't think a hard pour is bad. I think that there's good head retention there. Oh, medium light carbonation, poured hard, could be his fault. I think this beer is well carbonated. I still see the carbonation bubbles coming out of it. Don't necessarily agree or disagree. Got 4 out of 5 there, so I think we're doing okay. I just really got nailed on the aroma, the flavor, and the overall impression. The appearance and mouthfeel, I nailed. The flavor, I guess it's all blamed on the diacetyl. Here on the mouthfeel over here, I got 3 out of 5 medium-bodied, highly carbonated. Overall, I do tend to agree with Michael's overall observations of the beer. I've got nothing to disagree with what Michael says. He says not quite cloudy, but would benefit from additional lagering to clean and round out flavors. I disagree with him there. The only thing that I do have to say about the KCBierMeisters competition is they do not cold store your beer upon receipt, so you better have just a rock solid process, have no oxygen in that beer, no contamination, because it's going to come out. The diacetyl is acceptable in this style, but the level here is a bit obtrusive. So again, probably mostly to the hop or the yeast that I used in this beer. Recommended a diacetyl rest or a slightly less O-producing yeast. Grain bill appears fine. Could use more aroma, hops, and carbonation. So the end result here is hop it up a bit. Maybe play around with the yeast, pitch the right amount. Also, just kind of play with the recipe. I think really this coming in at 28, the highest is a 50. So obviously I'm over halfway there. 21 through 29 is considered good. I would have liked to have been in the very good or excellent category. I can't say that I'm disappointed. Overall, 28 out of 50 is not a bad score. It just kind of makes me feel like that this was an average beer. I don't like the diacetyl notes, but I'm glad that it's diacetyl, something probably caused more from the yeast and maybe a little bit of the process as opposed to something that I could have controlled, like contamination, that really made the beer dank or rank, and so that those are positive notes. So overall, you know, really good score sheet. Would have liked to place better. Would have liked to have a little bit better score. Learned a lot about diacetyl. I wouldn't have picked up that the diacetyl levels in this were uber high based on just me drinking it. So it's good to have third-party opinion. Overall, I think the flavor is great. I've given this beer to many people, and they all love it. They drink a ton of it. I'm almost out. I haven't even had my scheduled beer dinner. So it's been a very successful beer. It's been fun to brew. I'm glad that I actually took the time to enter this in competition. It was very hard to do. It took a lot of effort. Had to spend a lot more money and time than I would have liked to have spent to do this, but well worth it in the end. So cheers, and as always, if you'd like to taste a little bit of the Bohemia Pilsner or any of the other beers that I brew, just let me know. And coming up here next weekend, I will be putting together the new brew stand for the brewery, the pilot brewery. We're entertaining the idea of, you know, scaling this up, making a bit more beer. We'll see where things go. So look for a video on that. Bought the steel today. Looking forward to welding that together, and I'm going to make the Monarch Ale, which will be our spring pale ale. Still debating about doing an IPA next, and then we'll rebrew this, make a few tweaks, up the hop character. I also want to pour this over hops as in the serving process, just to taste what it tastes like. And we've got lots of great updates coming from flowbrewing.com, and thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy.